The ICC ODI World Cup of 2023 might still be in its nascent days as far as the tournament is concerned, but there's already been a few issues that, truth be told, a lot of people would not have been too happy about, whether that be, of course, haphazard ticketing sales leading to largely empty stadiums for a number of matches, to a number of big teams actually missing out on some big players with injuries, and now unfortunately issues with regards to the pitch, as well as, let's say, outfields in some cases as well. It's not been a smooth ride so far, but I think the one thing which a lot of people need to be talking about a lot more, and which a lot of people actually are when it comes to let's say them having to play matches over there, is the state of the outfield at the Himachal Pradesh Cricket Association Stadium in Dharamshala. Now, you would remember that the first match that was hosted over there of the World Cup took place between Afghanistan and Bangladesh, and whilst Bangladesh took plenty of plaudits for getting to a win in rather easy fashion, what was actually unfortunate was the fact that the state of the outfield was, to put it politely, very, very poor. And in fact, Afghanistan's head coach Jonathan Trott had said afterwards that one of their players, Mujibur Rahman, was actually lucky to have not been seriously injured when diving for one particular attempt. Such was the state of the outfield. Now, it is easy to be harsh on, let's say, the people who are taking care of the stadium, but it is worth noting that this is something of a rarity, because you remember IPL matches were hosted at the HPCA Cricket Stadium and it by and large was fine. But you would remember that issues happened stretching back at that stadium for quite some time. The Border Gavaskar Trophy, one of the tests was meant to be played there, got shifted to Indore at the last minute, and the reason for that is that there were plenty of issues with the outfield. One of them being that the outfield unfortunately had fungal growth, which meant that it needed to be relaid, and therefore there were plenty of problems. Now, the Dharamshala pitch will be playing host to another marquee match, that is between England and Bangladesh, and one of the people who has recently touched down there and addressed the media was England skipper Jos Buttler, and let's put it this way, he was not too happy with the state of the outfield. This is what he said. He said, "It is poor in my own opinion. I think anytime you're talking about being careful diving or when you're fielding, it goes against everything you want to be as a team." Now, in case you're wondering why there's talk about England or really any team having to be careful about diving or fielding, let's quickly take a look at a couple of images that ended up going pretty viral across social media involving Mujibur Rahman. The first one is this, and you can see it on your screens as we speak. Just look at the amount of ground that has already cropped up in that point when he's attempted the dive. That is not safe, because if, let's say, your knee or elbow or really any part of your body gets stuck, then you are in for a major injury. And if you think this looks bad, take a look at this. It's absolutely, there's bits of the ground flying up everywhere, and whilst normally you'll see a lot of cricketers or even elite sportsperson make very big deals out of things that might not seem like the biggest of deals, this very much is a problem. You cannot be playing international level cricket where players are in fact encouraged to dive around the ground like crazy on grounds where it's going to be flying up like that. Now, the reason this is happening is, of course, they've had to put sand in onto the outfield, but what it's done is made for a very uneven, chalky, and it's almost a minefield like situation whereby anytime you're diving, you're getting parts of the ground just fly up into bits like that. Now, one of the things that also is worth noting is that India, who are the only team who will be playing in 9 venues across this ODI World Cup, will in fact be playing a match in Dharamshala as well. Normally, that's something that you would actually, let's say, be happy about, because again, the stadium at Dharamshala, very, very picturesque. The outfield is really good. The pitch is normally very conducive to good batting, so can often produce some good games. In fact, you remember there are a couple of IPL games that were held this year as well. Good games overall, but if the outfield continues to stay like this, would the Indian team really want to be playing against New Zealand in such conditions? Don't forget that aside from the outfield, there's really no problem with the pitch. So you might actually see a bit of a push in that regard, if really the team thought that these were not good enough conditions, and that you might see a lot of games really pulled from the ground, including, of course, a marquee match, India versus New Zealand, a game that you'd remember has ramifications or has stretching all the way back to 2019. When the Kiwis had knocked India out of the semi-finals in very heartbreaking fashion. Dharamshala was meant to be the place hosting the rematch to that game, But unfortunately, at this point, there is a little bit of concern. It is worth noting though that nothing has been officially put out there just yet, but it really can be something that will escalate, especially as more and more people come out there in the open and, let's say, criticize the way the outfield is. And it is deserved criticism, something that maybe could have been addressed or should have been addressed beforehand. If there were concerns over the ground, you may very well have actually chosen to play the games elsewhere. It's not like India has a dearth of venues, but right now this is just not a good situation and not a good look at all for the country. When you're looking at hosting a marquee tournament like the World Cup, you want things like this to not be happening. Unfortunately, it is happening, and therefore maybe, just maybe, you might see some drastic action take place in the near future. At least that's how I feel about things. What do you guys think? You can let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos we've done. For now, from my side, it's bye-bye.